Hi, this is Matt from Skybow. Do you want to interact with Microsoft Teams from within a SharePoint list? Then we have some very powerful actions for you. On the agenda for the next 20 to 25 minutes, I have the following 3 topics, and for sure, demo will be the largest part of it as usual. So let's directly dive into it. First of all, what are the new possibilities and some scenarios with our new M365 actions? One of the possibilities is now you're able to notify people via Teams instead of emails. So if you want to notify if an item is added or if something is updated, you can send messages directly into a channel or to a user. That's one of the things that is possible. And the next thing is we can extend channels using tabs. We can add tabs like a planner, a OneNote, or any SharePoint site to an existing channel directly from within a SharePoint list or from a SharePoint solution. Then if you want to maintain the team membership from outside, not going into Teams all the time and add and remove people there, that's also possible from a SharePoint list. Let's say you maintain your teams or your channels there, then you can also do this via our actions, add people to a team or remove them, etc. Now you're also able to clone existing team artifacts, like I can clone a planner, I can clone a OneNote, but I can also clone a complete team with all the content inside and all the channels and all the tabs. So this one is quite powerful if you have an existing team or an existing a planner, OneNote, just make a copy of it into the same team or into another team. We can also create new teams from a SharePoint list if you want to maintain your projects in a SharePoint list, and once you add a new item to the project list, then create a team. That's will be possible. And you can also send adaptive cards. So not just sending plain messages, you can make use of the adaptive cards using the adaptive card designer, where you can have buttons and nice looking layouts and send those to the channels or the chats. But if we have a look at our new actions, and that's growing, that's just as of September 6th, we have right now 12 new Teams actions. We have 3 groups actions, 1 planner action, and 1 OneNote action. The full list looks like this. And as we can see, there will be an additional category up here for the M365. And all the previous ones are on the standard. And as you can see here, we can create a team. We can create a team from an existing group, meaning an M365 group. We can clone a team, create a channel, create a tab, or create a tag. A tag is just a collection of people, so to say, and the tag can be used to, for example, in the mention, you can mention a tag, and then all the people having that tag are notified. Yeah, we can add members and remove members from the team. We can update the team. We can up the team information, like the name, the description, and so on. We can also update tabs, change the tab, the channel, and this send message. That's the one to send these messages to the channel and the user. Creating, updating, and deleting groups is the M365 groups. And here are the two clone actions, which you can use separate just to clone a single plan, but they're also reused in the clone team actions or in the background. If you clone a team, you have the option where you can specify if you want to clone the plan as well and the OneNote as well, and then those actions are triggered in the background. To be able to do that, we have also introduced a couple of new connectors. There used to be an existing connector for the send email action, which is the skybow exchange connector. Those connectors need to be trusted once with a global administrator, and they're used in the background because all those actions are running in the background in our triggered or scheduled actions. And to have the permission to do that, we have to have these connectors, and you have to trust them just once per tenant. All right, but let's go into the demo. I've prepared the following scenario, and I have a SharePoint site, which is basically the backend of a Teams. So this Project Alpha is also a team here in Teams. And my idea was, let's say we want to have a topics list and people want to add topics. And when I add a topic, I want to automatically create a channel in my team to be able to discuss about that topic. I also want to have tasks, so a planner for each topic, a separate planner where I can add some tasks for this topic. And I always have an owner, that's just one person, and I have members. So, and in the end, I have a link where I can directly go to that channel. And yeah, my idea was, let me quickly refresh the page again. If I'm adding a new item to that list, like this, it's just a skybow new form. I can give it a title like skybow M365 actions. So let us discuss about these actions. And the owner is Sophie here. That's Megan, for example. And then I can add some members. I take Yoni. And I can also take members which are not yet part of the team. So all those members you already see down here, they're already in the team. So as you can see, I already have some members here. But let's say I will take some of them which are already there, but not all of them. Maybe let's take Patty, and then maybe one more like let me quickly look up another person who is not yet in the team. Let's take Bianca. Bianca is not yet there. So let me take Bianca. All right. Now, when I click save, the item, the topic will be added to my list here. But you can see the link is not yet set because now it will run in the background and it will do all that stuff. In the very end, I will also inform the people about it. So this was a previous test here, and it created this channel. It created also a task, a planner board here, a separate one. The OneNote is there. And in the end, I send this message to the team where I was mentioning everyone who was in the owner or in the member field. Now this could take some seconds, but we will directly, it's already here. As you can see, skybow and 365 actions. I got a notification that I have been added. Here are all the people, Megan, Yoni, Patty, and Bianca. We can see a separate planner. And it's really a separate planner. When we look at the planner hub, we will see that we refresh here. It's a brand new planner, a separate one, which was linked into my channel as a tab. And last but not least, we also created a tag. So that's the one here. It's a tag containing some people. And these tags can be used to mention people or to mention a specific group of people, like I explained. Because the problem is, if I would say mention and then skybow and 365 actions, I have the two options. By default, I can mention the team, which would inform everyone in the team. That's not what I want. Or I can also mention the channel, but with standard channels, that's exactly the same. Everyone is like part of that channel. That's why I've created that tag, because when I use the tag in the mentioning, then I'm only mentioning the people who are added to that tag. That's why I've added this tag. And last but not least, I got a notification that the channel for the topic M365 actions has been created successfully, and I have a direct link to go there. And that was sent to me personally from that chatbot. I will come to that later, how you have to install that one. Yeah, those were all the things that were done in the background. Now let's have a look into how this is configured in Solution Studio. So let's go to Solution Studio. I have a solution which is directly built into that Teams side. If I open up Solution Studio, we will see there is one list, topics, having some fields. I didn't change the forms here, but I've added triggered actions in the background. That's the only thing here. For now, it's just executed once an item is added. Of course, we could change that also to make some changes. If you change the item, changing the members, etc. For simplicity, I took the added. And if we look at the actions, let me make that full screen, then we will see these additional actions here, the ones I mentioned before. And here in my process, you see those actions one after each other. First of all, I've created the channel. So that's the first action. I have to put in the team name or the team ID. If we remove, you see it in here, ID or name of the team, where the channel should be added. And since my team is exactly the same as my site, I was able to take the web title, which is, as you can see, Project Alpha. So the web title is exactly the same as the team name. That's why I made it like this. The channel name is the title field. It's coming from the title field of the topics list. The description, channel to discuss about, and then the title, the topic. Here we can specify if it's a standard, a private, or a shared channel, and all those properties anywhere in all these actions. If there's something to configure or to specify from a drop-down, we can specify it directly in here, like hard-coded. standard, private, or whatever, or we can switch to enter a custom value, and then the control is changing to become an expression field, like a skybow expression field. And this way I could make this standard, private, and shared dynamic. Maybe I have this also in the topics list where the user can choose standard, private, or shared, for example, and then it's not hard-coded in the action. I can make that dynamic by passing that value using a custom value and an expression. But here I was just using standard, and yeah, it should be automatically shown to everyone in the list. That's the first action. After that, I'm going to add the team members, and that's very easy. It's just this action here. Again, I have to put in the team name, and then the users to add is just the IDs or the emails separated by a comma. And that's very easy using our expressions, because we can simply pass in the people picker fields that I was having, and this owner field of the members, and just taking the email of those fields. So here the owner email and the members email. This one is a multi people picker field, but still it would give me just the email addresses comma separated directly, as you can see. So all the email addresses are added with a comma, and that's it. That's already what I have to pass to this action. If a member is already there, doesn't matter. New members are added, quite easy. And I can specify if those should be added as an owner or as a member. I could also make two separate actions, one for the owners and say yes, and another one for the members and say no. Here I just put in all as a member, because the owner is just the owner of the topic and shouldn't be owner of the team. All right, then I'm creating the tag. Again, team title, the tag name is also the title. And again, the users can be the email or the IDs, comma separated. And that will create a tag with all those users. After that, I'm cloning the plan. Here, I have to put in the source group, which is the M365 group, which is in the background for each team. And the plan is assigned to this group, or it's always, a plan is always assigned to group. And that's why I have to pass the group in here, and then the source plan. So project alpha tasks is the plan that was the initial one that's somewhere. That's this one here. That's the default one. And this one I'm cloning. And then I will clone it into the same team in that case. But I could also take another team and clone it somewhere else. And I can put in a name for the new planner, for a new plan, and give it a prefix, or I could also make that dynamic and so on. That's very important. If you have a lot of plans on the planner hub, you wouldn't know where it belongs to, and giving it a proper name makes it easier to maintain them. You can also copy the content or clone the content. That's an option here. And as usual, you can say yes, no, or make that configurable as well. After the clone, I'm creating a new tab in the channel that I've created up here, and I'm mapping, or I'm defining the new plan to show here. So again, in which team I want to do that, in which channel, how should the tab be named? And for now, we have a couple of application types that we support, like OneNote Planner, a website, any website, or a SharePoint page. Here I'm saying planner. And as soon as I'm saying planner, I have to put in a name or a URL of the content to display in that tab. In my case, all these actions, or the previous actions, they have some output parameters, and the clone plan is having an output parameter for the plan URL. We will see that in here. If we go to actions, we see all those actions they have some output parameters. The channel will have a URL, an ID, the members, we would have the names and the email addresses and so on. And for the plan, that's of course the ID and the URL of the new plan that was cloned. And I can simply access this plan URL of this action. And I will show this one in the task tab. Yeah, create it if it doesn't exist. Yes. And then the next one. Then I'm updating. This one is a simple, this one is a simple update item action where I'm updating the theme, the topic item that was just added. That's why I can simply pass in the ID. I'm updating the topic. I hit an update and I'm setting the link to the channel. That's a URL field in the list. Again, the web URL of the new channel, and then comma separated, I can give it a nice looking name. So go to channel is then the link that you will see. Last but not least, I have two send message actions. The first one is sending a message to a channel, and I can choose from channel and user for now. I can say where this channel will be in this team, and this is the channel. That's the new channel I just created, and I will pass the channel ID, and then I can send a message. And if you send a message to a channel, we've also introduced a new function to mention someone. And this is available under the context functions. And there we have a couple of functions. One of them is mention. And in the mention, we can simply pass any URL field. If it's a single people picker field or a multi-people picker field, this will be resolved properly and you will mention just one person or more than one person. So I'm simply saying I will mention the owner and I will mention the members. And this is the only thing you have to do in here. And it will only work if you post it to send it to a channel. This is the option for the adaptive card. So let's say your message body is an adaptive card JSON. That would be too much for this session, but there's an adaptive card designer you could use. We could also link that in the description, and then you can put in an adaptive card XML here or JSON and say, yes, it's an adaptive card. That would send an adaptive card. The second one is where I inform the user, so the one who created the topic, about that everything has been created successfully. This time I'm saying user, and I will just take the author, the email of the author. And yeah, here I cannot use any mentions, though that's the same as in Teams itself. So in Teams, you can also, you cannot mention someone in a chat. Let's say I have a chat with Alex. I cannot use a mention of someone else, and mentioning that person doesn't make sense. So you see, you cannot mention something in here. All right. That's the whole process, the whole action, the whole actions. And one thing which is important, and right now it's visible always here on the top, is this connector that you have to trust. It's only once. Here I already trusted all of them. You see, it's already approved. But I have a link to change the list of approved sites, because that's a security thing. Because once you trust that connector, this connector is quite powerful, it can do quite a lot. So that this is not a security issue, we've implemented a way where a global admin, first of all, needs to trust the connector at all. and each of these will have their separate connector. So if you trust the Teams connector, then these actions, all of them will work, but the others will not yet. So so you have to trust each one separate, because it's always a different section or part of the API. And it looks like this. You have a link, you click, then you have to log in using a global admin. It will ask you for quite a lot of permissions, because that's what this connector has to have to be able to execute all those actions. And then you say accept, and then you're redirected to a page, this one here, for each connector, where you have to approve certain URLs. So that's just, like I said, a security thing that not just everyone on your tenant is able to execute any action in your teams and create teams and change channels and whatever. So you have to trust the site where those are able to run, and an admin has to trust that. You can also delete them later on like this, and it's deleted. Now it wouldn't run anymore, and I can just trust it again. That has to be done for each site. If you do a deployment to another tenant, and you also have to trust or approve the target sites where you made the deployment. All right, and I probably can show you with the send email, because that's not yet trusted. That's how it will look like. It's red, and you would have a link that you have to trust it. Good. Now, last point to explain is all these actions will just work with the connector. Just one of them, the send message, needs something in addition, and that's the app here. This one here, that's an app, a Teams app, and this has to be installed in the Teams admin center and then added, because that's technically that's a bot, and this bot will handle all those messages and will send it for us. So we cannot send them directly. It's always this bot, which is fully customizable if you want to have a different name, a different logo. Yes, that's possible for sure. And we will provide this bot or solution to you. You will be able to download it, and then you have to go to the Teams admin center, go to manage apps, upload this app here. Will be a zip file. I did that already here. That's my skybow solution. Oh, skybow solutions. It's published already. And what I did on top of that is I created a setup policy, the global one, and I added this as a pinned app, which will like install it for everyone in your tenant. Because why is that needed? If you want to send a message to someone, a direct one, so this one here, then this person who should receive that message needs to have that app installed. And I mean, you cannot make sure that everyone will install that app manually by themselves. Otherwise, the action will not work, the message will not be sent, and there will be an error in the log. So like here in the history, here, some of the first tests I did, I'm not sure if that's the one, but no, that was something else. But further down in the history, I had some, it will just show you an error that you cannot send it to that user because it hasn't installed the app. That's why it would be easier to just push it and install it for everyone, it will be automatically available to everyone. That's different to the channels. If you want to send a message to a channel, we're going to automatically add that app to that team. So if I would send it to this channel here, then it will always work as soon as the application is there for sure. And we would automatically add the app here to the apps. Right now, here on that Contoso Teams, it's not yet here, but on the other one, in the apps, here it has been added. And we say it's the communicator for Teams from skybow Solutions, which will send those messages. Here you will see it. And this has to be installed, otherwise the send message action will not work, even if you have the connected trusted. I hope I was able to show you the power of our new M365 actions.